Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, where I do trailer reactions, I react to YouTube videos, I review YouTube channels, occasionally I'll review a movie, but really, I just do whatever the hell I want. Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, down in the basement. We're gonna do something different today. How about 10 craziest last meal requests from death row? What would you ask for if it was your last meal? Lasagna would definitely be on there for me. I love Italian food, so lasagna would definitely be on there for me. Let's check this out.
Philip Ray Workman was an ex-con and drug addict who held up a Wendy's restaurant at gunpoint. Police officers arrived quickly, responding to the silent alarm. As Mr. Workman fled, he allegedly shot and killed one of the officers. He would sit on death row for 25 years during his last days before his execution.
I don't understand why they leave him there for so long. Why don't they just get it over with? That costs the taxpayers so much money. Especially if they know for a fact there's no way around it that they're guilty. They should do it as soon as possible.
Workman asked for vegetarian pizzas to be delivered to the homeless. Prison officials denied this request, and as a result, Workman went on a 3-day hunger strike. During that time, people all around the country sent veggie pizzas to homeless shelters in Tennessee to show their support for his seemingly selfless cause.
Sounds like he was trying to maybe make things right. Not make things right, but make things better.
James Edward Smith was a former voodoo priest and tarot card reader in the Houston, Texas area. He robbed a second-floor insurance office where he saw a clerk counting money behind a window. During the robbery, he shot and killed one of the insurance agents. In prison, the 37-year-old was asked what he wanted for his last meal. He asked for Radakunda dirt, which is often associated with voodoo rituals. He explained he would use it to mark his body so that the spirit would move on and not become a ghost. After this request was refused, he then settled on a cup of yogurt. 32-year-old Thomas Grosso was responsible for a string of home invasions that resulted in the strangulation deaths of 2 elderly people, one in Oklahoma and another in New York. Once investigators caught up to him, he confessed to both murders and was sentenced to death. His extravagant last meal consisted of 24 mussels and clams, a Burger King double cheeseburger, 6 barbecue spare ribs, 2 strawberry milkshakes, a pumpkin pie with whipped cream.
Go with chocolate instead of strawberry, but pumpkin pie I could do without. I like it, but I wouldn't ask for that.
And a can of room temperature SpaghettiOs. His very last words were, "I did not get my SpaghettiOs. I got spaghetti. I want the press to know this." Lawrence Russell Brewer and 2 other white men kidnapped a 49-year-old black man in 1998. They chained him by the ankles to the back of a pickup truck and dragged him for 3.5 miles down a country road near Jasper, Texas. The man died when he was decapitated after hitting a drainage pipe. Brewer's last meal was a pretty huge...
See, now that's what I'm talking about. Why let that guy live for however many years? I don't know how quick they got rid of him, but should have been almost immediate as long as they knew it was him that did it.
Spread. He ordered chicken fried steaks with onions and gravy, a triple cheeseburger, a large omelet, fried okra, half a loaf of bread, a pound of barbecue, a meat lover's pizza, 3 fully loaded fajitas, 3 cans of soda, peanut butter fudge, and a pint of ice cream. When the whole meal was brought to Brewer, he refused to take a single bite, stating that he was not hungry. After this little stunt, Texas ended the last meal request immediately.
Oh, way to go, dude. He made that so that nobody else could get a last meal request. I guess that's kind of like his last FU to the world before he gets sent straight to hell.
John Wayne Gacy, known as the Killer Clown, was a serial rapist and murderer in Chicago during the 1970s. Gacy would dress up as Pogo the Clown at charitable events, parades, and children's parties. He would lure young teenage boys to his home and strangle them to death after raping them. 23 of his victims were found under the crawl space of his home. His final meal included a dozen deep-fried shrimp, French fries, a pound of strawberries, and a bucket of original recipe chicken from KFC. Before being convicted of his crimes, Gacy was a manager at 3 different KFCs. Robert Bouelle was
I didn't know that. I worked for KFC. But yeah, I didn't know John Wayne Gacy was a manager at KFC. Wow. In the 70s, it probably would have been about the same time my dad was managing when I was a little kid.
Convicted of the kidnapping, raping, and killing of an 11-year-old girl in 1982. Although he admits to abducting the girl from the park, he denies his involvement in the murder. Her body was found a week after her disappearance, strangled, sexually attacked, burned by candles, and scrubbed clean. Bouelle's last meal was a single black olive, with the pit still inside. He did this in homage to Robert Figuer, who in 1963 chose one unpitted olive as his last meal as well. The hope here is that once in the ground, the seed from the olive will sprout and grow from the grave.
What good does that do, though? Even if it does sprout from the ground and grow from the grave, is there something symbolic in it, or what? I don't get it.
Gerald Lee Mitchell was 17 at the time of his crimes of murder and theft. He first murdered a man during a drug deal. He stole the man's car and shot him with a sawed-off shotgun. Only a week later, he shot another man over a necklace. He was caught by Texas police while driving around in the slain victim's car. When asked what he wanted to eat for his final meal, he said all he wanted was an assorted bag of Jolly Rancher candies. He was granted his request, and he ate all of them. Peter J McNeil was responsible.
Okay, that's a mistake. That's Timothy McVeigh. Let me go back. Who did he say?
His request, and he ate all of them. Peter J McNeil was responsible.
Okay, that's a mistake. That picture's Timothy McVeigh from the Oklahoma City bombings. See what he has to say.
For beating and stabbing a man to death. He was pretending to sell him some cocaine, but he in fact...
Okay, that's the wrong picture. They put the wrong picture on there of the wrong person. That's not Peter J McNeil, that's Timothy McVeigh from the Oklahoma City bombings. I know it is.
Intended to rob the man. He hit the victim in the head with a heavy glass beer mug. He then stabbed him 39 times in the neck and beat him about the head with an automobile shock absorber. His last meal was one of the largest ever compiled together. Prison officials brought 20 beef tacos, 20 beef enchiladas, 2 double cheeseburgers, a pizza with jalapenos, fried chicken, spaghetti, a small fruit cake, half of a chocolate cake, half of a vanilla cake, cookies and cream ice cream, caramel pecan fudge ice cream, 2 Coca-Colas, 2 Pepsi-Colas, 2 root beers, and 2 orange juices.
You know what? I have a really big appetite, but there is no way in hell that I could eat all that food in one day, let alone 2 or 3. That's crazy. I don't know how anyone could eat all of that.
Ronnie Lee Gardner was sentenced to life in prison for the death of Melvin John Otterstrom during a robbery. He was then sentenced to death for the 1985 killing of attorney Michael Burdell during an unsuccessful escape from a Salt Lake City courthouse. Gardner ate a last meal of steak, lobster tail, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and 7-Up. But the crazy part about his request is that he wanted to watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy while eating his meal. 3 days later, he was executed by a firing squad at his own request. He requested this because he knew there would be no mistakes.
I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could request to watch like a movie or something like that. It's supposed to be a meal request. You know, personally, I don't think these people should get any of this stuff, but I don't know.
In 1981, Ray Rector shot and killed a man in a nightclub and then a police officer in Conway, Arkansas. Realizing there was no way out, he turned the gun to his temple and pulled the trigger. Ray shot himself in the head, but he did not die. He in fact gave himself a lobotomy, rendering himself mentally challenged. Therapists would conclude that his IQ would be measured at around 70 during his last days on death row. Prison officials asked him what he wanted to eat before dying. He asked for steak, chicken, cherry-flavored Kool-Aid, and a full pecan pie. It seemed that Ricky did not understand that he was being put to death, because he left the pecan pie on the side of the tray. He told the guards who came to take him to the execution chamber that he was saving it for later.
That sucks. I mean, he was mentally challenged towards the end because of his own doing and everything. So I feel kind of bad about that because he didn't know. Like he said that he was going to execute him. But I guess it's karma, huh? Well, looks like that's it. Oh, that was 10 craziest last meal requests from death row. Let me know in the comments down below what you would have for your last meal request. I'd have me a pretty big meal, but nothing like some of those. There's no way you could eat all of that. I don't get how you could eat it all. Let's do a joke. Let's see here. What do you call a rooster staring at a pile of lettuce? A chicken sees a salad. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hashtag Mean Gene, all that fun stuff. And if you like this video, tell all your friends, leave a comment down below. And if you didn't like it, then just shut up. And I will see you next time.